Now I am prismatic, the rainbow in my eyes. Now I am magnetic, new people in my life. So as you can tell from the clips and the final product that is out now on streaming, there have been very slight lyric and melody changes in the Prismatic song. That's mainly just because when I was recording, I had written out the lyrics and there's like a slight change in one of the versions, in the old version and the new project that I had. In the old version, there was like a slight word change compared to the new version, which is where the difference comes from. It's one tiny word. I don't know if you'll even catch it, but it's a very slight change because when I was recording and I wasn't looking at lyrics, I said a different word and I preferred how that word fit in with the rest of the song. Overall, Prismatic came together quite fast. Like, once I started recording, it all just like kind of fell into place. I had the instrumental done for a while. As you would have seen, I tried a different song with the instrumental, but overall I decided Prismatic was the song for this specific instrumental. Once I figured that out and started recording vocals to it and had the melody down, I knew what I wanted to do. It just came together very fast. And once I started recording, it just all came together. But it probably is the song that took the longest because I just kept getting more vocals and kept trying to do harmonies and different ad-libs here and there, and then getting more like the main vocal line. I was like, that sounds very stern, let me add something underneath that sounds a bit more fun and playful when I'm singing. So I just kept adding more and more, and that was a very prominent issue. I didn't know when to stop, and I can't be stopped. I was like, okay, we need to do this harmony, we need to do this vocal, we need to do this idea, we need to add this in here to make it build up a certain way. And sure, some of those things are great and are good to have, but there's a point where you have to be like, Ian, stop. This is it. This is the final song. It sounds fine. You don't need to add anything else. Leave it. And I definitely have more of that restraint now, but in the end I just had multiple sessions. I think I ended up with 4 different Logic projects with 4 different versions, like with only different slight variations. Like the first one with the worst vocals, and another one with better vocals, and another one that was shorter and had bits cut out, and then another one that had a ton of different harmonies and ad-lib things. That is the one that I actually just went with in the end. But if I went into it now and opened all the hidden and muted tracks, there's probably a ton in there that didn't make the final version. That I just kept recording for months and didn't use most of it. Like I only had the bass and then some additional things and then some ad-libs sprinkled on top just to give it a fun feel, as it is like the title track, and it's a very pop R&B song, so I wanted it to just be fun and bright and sparkly. Now I am prismatic, the rainbow in my eyes. Now I feel magnetic, new people in my life. Sunlight through a glass on the brightest day. Think about my past, tell with it, babe. Clouds can fog my mind, cover up the sky. There's a light inside, and it still shines. Don't know where I've been, but don't wanna go back. New growth from within, I make up what I lack. Spectrum on the ceiling, the colors shine right through. It's not deceiving when the sun shines too. Now I am prismatic, the rainbow in my eyes. Now I feel magnetic, new people in my life. Not to be emphatic, like a new soul inside. I am prismatic. It took quite a while to rebuild my reflection. Brand new bitch inside, I heal my reputation. Shine gold in the darkness, light up my own path. My future's when my heart is, and I can't love in house. Ooh. Now I am prismatic, the rainbow in my eyes. Now I feel magnetic, new people in my life. Not to be emphatic, like a new soul inside. I am prismatic, don't care about what you say. I am prismatic, I've always been that way. No, I've been a headache, it's nothing new for me. New love and old heartbreak to get myself clean. I am prismatic. No, I've been a headache, it's nothing new for me. New love and old heartbreak to get myself clean. Now I am prismatic. The rainbow in my eyes. New people in my life. Like a new soul inside. Now I am prismatic. The rainbow in my eyes. Now I feel magnetic. New people in my life. I am prismatic. Now I am prismatic. The rainbow in my eyes. Now I feel magnetic. New people in my life. Not to be emphatic. Like a new soul inside. I am prismatic. Okay. I think we need to do another belty one just in case. Now I am prismatic. The rainbow in my eyes. Now I feel magnetic. New people in my life. Not to be emphatic. Like a new soul inside. I am prismatic. A big problem I think I faced and still face, not really actually so much anymore, but I like throughout the whole recording of the Prismatic project, and I touched on this in saying about how many projects I had, but I just didn't know when to stop. There was too many stacks, which led to it sounding really messy, and I didn't really understand harmonies as well as I do now. So there should only have been, back then, one lead, the doubles, maybe some harmonies panned into either ear, and then some ad-lib if needed. That would have been perfect for the songs, but I just kept going and adding stacks and stacks and stacks, and I think it ruined it. Whereas if I was to redo the project now, I could just have changed a lot with it and cut down those stacks and made it less bad. And that is Prismatic Vocals done for me, I think. Let's chat for a second. Basically, this is the second mix because the first one I was like, don't like it. I just duplicated the project, so it's like I could take out all the bits that I don't think I need, so the song is now shorter, but I also have kept the longer version with different vocal takes. And then in this version, I just took out all the vocal takes, took out the vocoder, and just re-recorded everything. So now I have 8 like ad-lib harmony type things, and then I have 8 other stacks for like the main vocal line, so that's fun. I think that could be this done. I'm gonna edit it up tonight and see how I feel, and then compare it to the old version. And then if I like, these harmonies are like perfect, like these harmonies, these ad-libs, these belty parts, they're perfect. So I think if I prefer the first mix, I'll just copy and paste these over into the other session, and then we'll see how that goes. I mentioned a lot about harmonies and how I've perfected them, but back then they were not perfect, nor did I love them. And now, in the current day, I do believe I'm much better at them and could perfect them exactly how I wanted them to sound now. Back then my harmonies were all messy, whereas now I know how to do harmonies properly. I'm like, if this, and I can do it in my head, which is insane because I don't know where this skill came from. I think it's just from getting better with my ear, with musical stuff. How if I'm singing a certain note, if I wanted to make a harmony, I'm like, okay, I need to go 3 notes above that or 5 notes above that to make a triad, or I could go 7 notes above that to make a harmony within the perfect fifth. And I could then just loop record the section that I want to harmonize harmonize over. And then in a new track, listen first time, hear where the note is sitting, and then in my head I imagine a piano and step up the amount of notes I have to go up, and then sing in there, and it almost always, very close to always, is like the harmony in the perfect note I want, which is insane to me because I didn't know this is a skill that I can just do. Like out of nowhere, I just stood by my microphone and I was like, can I harmonize to this perfectly? And then I harmonized over the note and I looked at it, I was like, that's literally the note I wanted, and this harmony works and sounds good. So yeah, that's just a random thing I can do now, which is fucking incredible and insane, and I don't know how it happened, but I'm very thankful it happened. In future projects, get ready for better harmonies. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I think I'm done recording for the day. Like the house emptied out, and then in 10-15 minutes I got like everything I've been working on these past few days done. Like, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm still working on instrumentals and melodies for, but then there's stuff that I'm like, okay, I know the melody, I know the vocals, I know where I want to stack everything. So I just recorded all that, and because I haven't been able to do it for a few days, I've had time to like think where everything goes and perfect it so I can get it done quick and easy. Like when I get into a studio, I could spend one day in the studio, or even like if I'm gonna move into my own house or own apartment or anything, I could spend one day and have like 6 songs done, like done and ready to go, like vocals done, instrumentals done. Give me 8 hours and I'll have a fucking album done, you know? Like people be like, oh, it takes 6 hours to get like all the vocal stacks for one song done. I'll be like, give me 2 hours and I'll have vocals, harmonies and ad-libs all perfectly done. Like once I go into the studio with ideas, those ideas flow out pretty fast. I just want to touch on something I said as well about how if I moved out or got into a studio, it would take me one day and I'd have multiple songs done. Although that does sound very like over the top and like that's literally not possible, Ian, what the fuck are you talking about? I do think I could be pushing out so many songs if I moved out or got into a proper studio. And I've proved this by having one day in a studio in college and getting projects just bashed out. Of course, those are more like professional studios where you have to have multiple people in there because you can't do the desk and then go into the recording studio and then get everything recorded. But like if I moved out or I had a smaller studio that was just like the microphone and a laptop and a big interface and everything in one position and had everything in one room, I think I could get a lot more done because then you just press play and the microphone is 2 steps away. And then once the count in, when it's counting in, you'll get to the microphone. So if I moved out and I wasn't annoying anybody at like 2 a.m. or if I was in the middle of nowhere in a studio, not even a studio, but even like give me a fucking Airbnb with a spare room and I'll set up shop in there, and I could, if it was out in the middle of nowhere and I wouldn't have neighbors I'm annoying or family there that I'm annoying or friends that I'm annoying, I would be able to record all day into the night and then do that for however many days and get multiple songs pushed out, full vocal recording done. Because I could have had the album I'm working on now done already if my family wasn't still working from home or sleeping at regular people hours when I'm up doing music stuff. Basically, I've proved that in one day in the studio I can get a lot done, because when I was doing college projects in proper studios, I would be in there with friends and I'd get everything recorded in one day and then just have to come back again another day to mix it all. And the rest I can do at home, like placing things certain ways or making little changes, and then just go into the studio to listen on proper speakers and make the final details and changes before bouncing and submitting the project. And all I need is a drum beat, and then I'll do the vocals, because that's how I do my melodies, based on the drum beat, and then add chords later depending on where your voice is sitting. That's what I do now. I also mentioned, which I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, how my strategy to record and make melodies is to only have drums and how I can do it based only on drums. That's not how I do it anymore. I don't know what I was thinking back then. I know why I don't do it anymore is because when you're making melodies with drums in mind, they're all going to sound the fucking same because the drum patterns only have a certain way that sound good. Like if you're doing kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, 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 snare, kick, 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 snare, obviously if they're like all dum, dum, dum in the perfect tempo, so that's what your vocals are going to sound like, and that's not good. Whereas now, instead of my melodies all sounding very samey, more recently anyway, I've been writing songs and I have a melody in mind when I'm writing them, and I record that melody into my voice notes, and then if I have the time I record it into a Logic session, but if I don't have the time I just put the voice note into the Logic session, and then I build a drum and chords around that voice note or that melody that I came up with, which makes it sound a lot better instead of just writing with the drums in the tempo that you're recording in. It just doesn't work in the same way that you can make a unique melody, sing it into your phone, put it into your session, and then build drums around it, and it sounds completely different but still sounds good, and nothing is the same then. Prismatic, title track, we Gucci, we done, we feeling good, because I've done this and I've done the soul searching interlude, and I did some Dreamland vocals as well. Feeling good, feeling accomplished, ready to go, ready to edit these up later. A big thing with the lyrics in this EP in general is about me being braggy, and that's not a thing that I want to come across. Like me saying, I'm iridescent, I am prismatic. It's not me trying to brag. It comes from a place of me trying to tell myself that I'm better. I'm doing the growth, I'm getting mentally better. And that wasn't the case, so these songs were kind of like to trick my brain into thinking that. But they aren't meant to be braggy. They're not meant to be like, oh my god, look at me, I'm perfect, I'm doing all the healing myself, blah 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 blah. It's supposed to be like just a fun song. They weren't meant to be super deep lyrics in the chorus. Like the verses is where the deep lyrics go, but the chorus is supposed to be fun and upbeat and just like something to dance to. The prismatic and iridescent, like I'm not trying to brag saying I'm better than anybody or I'm doing this or doing that. It's just supposed to be me having a very big revelation from being in a horrible place to now being better. I just want to appreciate the better and show off that I am better, but not try to brag about it, which it's very complicated. But I knew in the time I wasn't trying to brag. It was just a song about myself, not a song about myself to show off, just a song about myself. This whole EP was about myself. Most of the songs were like, I did this, or I am this, or I'm going through this, or I was doing this and now I'm better and shit like that. Whereas a lot of songs are like, you did this to me, you did this to me, he did this, she did this. I was very like, this is very look inwards, which is where the I am prismatic, I am iridescent, I am glowing, I'm shining, all this shit comes from. To grow blossom, yeah. I'm growing, you know it. I'm growing, iridescent. I'm growing, I'm growing. Roller coaster, too many times over to all my crimes. Real whelmed, and I'll be all done working on myself. Done working on myself. Iridescent, luminescent, luminescent. Iridescent, iridescent, luminescent, luminescent. But now I'm iridescent. But now I'm iridescent, iridescent, iridescent. Think this time is real. I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is the end. I'll be all done working on myself. Done working on myself. And another big thing about iridescent is how much I vibed with it, and you can tell when I'm recording it how happy I am and how like much fun I'm having. Like I'm nodding my head, which I don't do a lot when I'm recording. Like I'm very serious when I'm recording because I want to get things perfect and done. You can tell I was having fun and really vibing and enjoying my time recording and making the song, which is why I think it got such good reception, why it ended up being the best song at that time that I've ever released and made. Like I still think it's a very strong contender for the best song on the EP, but that's because I had so much fun and enjoyed making it, and I was vibing out, and it was just a good time, which is, I think it's very important now. Like even though now I am very like strict and I'm like, this is fun, but Ian, you have to make sure it's perfect, I still make sure I am having fun. I don't be nodding to the beat, but if there's like a break where I don't be singing, I'll just be nodding along and dancing. Then when it comes time to sing, I'll be like, hey, stop, focus, get it done. It's just so clear that I was having fun recording that song, which is why the reception was so good, I think, anyway. And why it got playlisted and why it did the best, why it's the best stream song on the EP. Just, yeah. There's a big coincidence with Iridescent, how I had written this song. It was like, iridescent, I'm glowing, luminescent, you know it, luminescent, I'm growing, but now I'm iridescent. Or something very close to that. Like I had the da 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 da. I had that melody written down, and like I had a voice note of it. And then one of the days I just decided to make it instrumental in Logic, and out of nowhere this exact melody came out on bass. I had the bass for like a few days and I was just listening to it, scrolling through my notes, seeing what song it would go with. And I came up with Iridescent. I was like, wait, it's this exact same melody and bass line. This is perfect for each other. And I didn't really build off of it for a while. It was just a big coincidence in the end, but there's a while where the chorus was literally just the bass and the vocal. I think there is a section of that song where the chorus still is just the bass and the vocal and then it builds. It's like very a stripped back instrumental for me, because usually I do a ton of layers of stuff and a lot of panning, whereas this is much more stripped back and the vocals are like much more upfront. For a while, it started just like immediately with the first verse, but that was just a little bit too like in your face and I didn't like it, so I pushed everything back by one bar and added a bar of just instrumental. And then tonight I was like, let me reverse a crash actually and put that in there, and then I was like, that sounds so much better because it sounds like it's actually leading up to something instead of just two instruments. And then I put a little vocal there at the start as well. It's like EQ'd, so the highs are taken out, so it's kind of low. It's very quiet and it's also tuned differently so that it sounds kind of off. Iridescent, upon release, didn't get much hate, which is good, but the reason it didn't get hate is because I think it was a good song and you can tell I was excited uploading it and I really loved it, which is why people online didn't want to pay any attention to it. When a song is bad, they'll give it all the attention and hate you for it. When a song is good, it doesn't even get half the amount of engagement that it deserves, just because people don't hate it. Hate gets people places, but if a song is good, it's quiet. Iridescent got a few people agitated online and it got playlisted to multiple playlists over 2 or 3 months. There's this one that was a playlist full of just the weekend songs and my song's just in the middle of it. I was like, that doesn't seem right. I think that was an accident. And it was gaining a lot of streams from this. And there was another playlist that was like submissions and I didn't submit it to that playlist and it just ended up in there. And there's another one, I can't remember even half the playlist, but I have screenshots of them all. There's another playlist that it got added to and I was like, this is just so strange. Like, and my first initial thought how awful this is either people hating it, trying to make fun of the song by sending it to playlists to kind of like get more people to make fun of me, or to get it in a playlist and have people laugh at it. But now I'm like, even if they did do that, it still got added to the playlist and I got streams from it. And it's never about the numbers for me, and I say this all the time, the numbers mean nothing, but when somebody's trying to hate, they're only pushing you further, giving you the means to keep going. If I'm getting more streams, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's a positive, I'm gonna keep making music. But Iridescent did get playlisted a good few times and it got a lot of streams and boosted the overall project streams by a lot. Like, I think it got 100 streams in one day at one point and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it was on like 3 playlists at once and it was just insane. It was crazy, and I'm forever thankful for, if it was a mistake or on purpose, my music was in those playlists and it got me to a place, and the excitement I had uploading this, which was unmatched to the excitement of Double Dose, it fully paid off, and like the work paid off, and I was making tiny changes for days, like staying up till 4 a.m, doing tiny little knob turns on plugins to make it sound a certain way, and just adding vocals here, reversing them, adding a ton of reverb to make a build up to the second chorus, and it all just paid off. The work really paid off for that one song. And then the EP was the next thing to come out, and that was the final song for the EP properly released, so it felt good to have that, and then leading off that go into like the full EP release. Whereas if it was full of hate, I would have been even less proud and more nervous for the full EP. That wasn't the case. This reception was good, and then I led into the EP with it. I think that brought a lot of positive energy with me into the EP release cycle. I'm very close to finishing it. The only song that doesn't have like a very close to finished demo is Dreamland, but I've said tomorrow, if my family wants to do something during the day, I'll go do that, but all evening is bashing out Dreamland. And then if I get everything done, I want to bounce out WAV files or WAV files, whatever you call them, of all of the and then upload the tracks to make CDs, so they will be ready for pre-order as well. If I can't do that, I want to finish everything by tomorrow night, and then on Sunday I can bounce out all the WAV files and upload them if needs be, but I would prefer have everything done tomorrow night, and then I can celebrate with a little drink and I'll FaceTime with my friends and have a good time. But yeah, haven't updated you in a while, so there's a lot that's happened. In the last week I've finished nearly all the songs, so I've just been really focused on finishing them, and I'm like this close to finishing everything and getting everything done. I'm very excited, and yeah, I'll update you probably tomorrow if everything is done or close to done. Hold on, I literally have a folder on my drive that's like Prismatic done demos, because I'm like, what if they're an MP3 file, they're a demo, but they're the closest demos, quote-unquote demos, to being the final song. I have most of them in there now. I have Iridescent, Happy Sad, Owe You Nothing, Prismatic, and To Be Happy. Prismatic is done. This demo was an MP3 version, and I listened to it and I was like, I need to just remove this one ad-lib that I don't like. It was like a you that was from either ear, and I was like, that ain't it. It was like just before the second verse where there's a little breakdown. There's a little like breakdown. It's like new instruments being introduced, and I was like, I would prefer just to be the instruments and focus on the instruments instead of two ears in either ear. So that's done. Like Prismatic's been done for ages, but I left it because I was like, I'm gonna leave it very close to done for a while, and then I'll come back to it, and then that's what I did. And I just had to finish a few things, add a few ad-libs here and there, EQ a few things, and now it's done. So now I have a Chrysalis done demo as well, so that can go in. To Be Happy has been done for months. I was just like, that's the perfect intro. It's like me showing off pitch I can sing. There is no auto-tune, no reverb. There is reverb actually, but it's only reverb to make it sound big and not just like very single, because it is just like a mono like vocal track. It's not gonna sound big, so I added reverb to kind of like spread it out, not to hide any vocals, because there is some mess ups in there. Like there's like a vocal issue. You can hear like my voice kind of be strained for a second. I left that in, so it's not like I'm trying to use the reverb to hide anything. It's like I'm just using the reverb to make it sound much bigger than it is. My little teddies and my vinyls. And yeah, I'm just happy that Iridescent is done, and I'm very close to finishing everything. Double Dose is a new version coming that is not as weird and it makes so much better, and I just much prefer that one. I think we'll be done this EP hopefully tomorrow night. How releasing Iridescent was a much happier experience. You can tell in my face like how excited and happy I was to do it. I was much prouder of this song, as well as I mentioned how I was vibing and having a good time. Just with the overall like making of the song, I was like, this is so good, it's missing this thing, let me add it in. Once I finished doing all the little additions and got to the final product, I was like, this is fucking good. Sure, now in current day I would be like, those vocals could use a touch of different, but that's just because my microphone wasn't as good as it is now. Vocals done with my microphone now, I think it would sound perfect. I was much prouder of this song and knew it was good, and knew it was like just like a fun pop song. Although I wasn't excited as when I was uploading No Hard Feelings, when I was like super excited, and then Double Dose I was like very worried and scared, but I still said I was excited and didn't care about the hate, but I did. With Iridescent I was back to that state of No Hard Feelings excitement, not as excited because there was still that hate that was playing on my mind. I was like, knew it was there and what could happen, but overall I was much more excited to release that song than I was to release Double Dose, and then that excitement did carry on to the EP. But not even like just releasing Iridescent, making the song was a much happier experience. You can see I'm having a good time making it, which is just nice to see, and you can see when I'm having a good time I'm much more confident with what I'm doing. So just overall I think making that song really changed my confidence level for the EP. And when you're having a good time in the studio or just making songs, you know it's gonna be a good song, which is what it was. Releasing Iridescent was a much happier experience compared to Double Dose, just the first proper single from the project. And then the reception it got followed that excitement. It didn't tear me down like Double Dose. I was kind of excited but still worried, and the hate just tore me right down. Whereas with this song, it was like I was excited and there's only a tiny little bit of hate, as I mentioned, but it kept me confident and excited. But yeah, just the overall releasing of Iridescent and then making Prismatic and then releasing the EP, it just, you could see how different I felt. Like there was such a growth from the hate and depressed and scared person making No Hard Feelings and Double Dose to Iridescent and then the release of the EP, and how excited I was and looking forward to it, and how much fun I was having releasing it and recording it and uploading it and planning promotion for it. It's just nice to see there's such a growth there, but it's been even more of a growth from there to now,